Right. So this visual is because, at some point your risk logging can actually become like a game of chess. Some moves are riskier than others. Sometimes you sacrifice a pawn to save the queen. So hence the chess analogy. Next one. Right. So risk registers. Right. So when we were thinking about our, graph nodes, we realized straight away that we're deviating from risk taxonomy, and we cannot call these nodes risks anymore. So we were thinking about like, what are they then? And we realized they're actually aggregators of risk. And that's what led us to risk registers. So, risk registers are a controversy these days in the risk world because a lot of risk experts are actually against them. But our risk register that we constructed is not your typical one anyway. However, we just saw it as as aggregator of different types of risks. So the pros of, classical risk registers is risk logging, delegation of risk ownership, useful management tools. It's a useful management tool, and they can be useful for inciting debate, because if you use them to present risks, they can start a debate between stakeholders. A lot of them is to represent the context of each risk. That's it's the biggest con, and there's a lot of other cons that can happen. Like, for example, if you have a risk register full of untreated risks, then if that gets out and that leaks, that can be quite embarrassing. So it's basically a risk register is another asset to protect, especially if it's not kept up to date and if it's full of untreated risks. So just to show how we approach this and abused in a way the name risk register as well, and we made a couple of mini risk registers, and that's where our risk reg Jira issue was born. So basically we started with risk reg 0, which was the Glasgow corporate risk register, and then we went a level lower and we had like operational risk, for example. And then if you go a level lower as well, we are entering risk reg 2. Some of you might argue that these are risk categories, not risk registers, but we still decided for our graph purposes and for our presentation purposes to still keep calling them risk registers, because we will get down to risk categories a bit later, lower down.
Yeah. So, and just here, like, it's very important to say that at this level, and actually Dida, you were asking about, sort of a schema generic. This is kind of it. Like, this applies to every single company, right? Like, what you see here is stuff that every single company has to deal with. The question then becomes how high, medium, low these issues are, right? But what you see here is items that are business focused, right? These are things that, in a way, the business cares about. And then we're going to be linking from here into some of the other things we do. And also this applies to other parts of the business too.
And, later on, you'll see Chris will show you the dashboards, how we use traffic light system to actually present these risks. Because a graph is one way, but we also use dashboards as well. All right, moving next.